What is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here, Flex Training Systems, and today we're talking about what everybody wants to know about. As you can see, there's a training template in front of you. I want to talk about the pros and cons of the training split that I'm currently on. Just some things I like about it, some things I don't like about it, why I'm choosing this one for now. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about training frequency. You know, a lot of people just associate like more frequency with more gains, but there's actually a little bit of reasoning behind it. And then I think when you guys understand the underlying issue or like the underlying reason for frequency, which is a lot of reasons, it can better help you understand, what decisions you need to make in the gym and like what to kind of expect. Let's say you need to skip a day or move a day around or something like that. It just really helps with stuff like that. So this is the training split that I'm using. I did some very minimal labeling. As you can see, I have Monday and Tuesday labeled as heavy. Saturday is labeled as recovery, and then Thursday is volume. Um, Sometimes on that Thursday, I'll do my heavy singles for benching on that Thursday. It really just depends. I've been doing them on Mondays a lot. The cons of doing them on Monday is that I had a bench session on Saturday. So that Monday heavy session may or may not be affected by it, depending on like if I'm honest and I stay in the pocket, it should be fine. If I push it too much on Saturday, which a lot of inexperienced do whenever they're dealing with higher frequency, they're probably not gonna do so good on Monday. If you're a small lifter that's not lifting a lot of weight and recovers really fast, it's not really gonna matter too much. For lower body, for those types of lifters, it's gonna matter a lot more. Thursday. So that is typically my volume bench day. This Thursday is affected by my Tuesday heavy squats because my depending on how heavy I go, what equipment I'm using, the bar is gonna bend, which is gonna really kill my elbows. I think I'm just not. I just can't use the OPB with pounds. It just hurts way too much. It's just so much tension. Like right here, this area right here, it just absolutely kills me and it really messes with that Thursday bench session. I'm sure some of you guys might be experiencing that as well. Um, I know for a fact it's from the bar bending. It's not like if I'm on a straight bar, if I'm lifting light enough weight and the bar's not bending as much, then it's not really too much of a problem. So using a good bar and good equipment is very important for that. Now some of the pros, and then I forgot to mention deadlift is on Friday, but there's a star next to it because that can move around, and I'll talk about that. I'll talk about that here. So the pros of this block. Um, so with bench, it's pretty consistent. Everything's pretty even. Good amount of distance in between. If you're benching 3 times a week, you're gonna have. It doesn't really matter what days, but if you're spaced out like this, you're probably gonna be fine. You doing it this way. Granted, some people are going to need to bench 5 times a week. Some people are going to bench 2 times a week. It just depends on the person. I'm just using this as an example of what I do to kind of give you guys just something to go off of. So as you can see, the heavy recovery and volume days are spread out. Um, I put a star next to that recovery day because, like I said, for some people that's a recovery day. For other people, that's just a regular working day. So kind of understanding what you want from each day is going to help you mentally approach that day. Like, what should I be looking for? Things like that. Um, Also, another pro to this training split is for lower body, I'm getting a lot of recovery. I have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off from lower body, so on my Tuesday, I'm going to be very strong for big squats. Granted, if I wanted to tweak this even more and just absolutely make sure that squat was the best lift every week, I would not bench the day before. I would flip it and actually squat coming off a rest day. Um, that is partly why sometimes in meets I am hitting a lot more in the meet than I am in the gym on my squat. Uh, because my bench, believe it or not, it really does tax. I use my entire body when I bench, my back especially, my upper thighs, really my thighs in general. My groin, like everything is just very taxed by my benching. It's very hard for me to maintain that position, and it absolutely is going to take away from what I'm able to do on Tuesdays. So I'm never really at any point during my entire prep training with a perfectly fresh squat, which I'm okay with because, like I said, if my Tuesday heavy squat day is a tendency to affect my bench because of the pain in my elbows, um, basically I'm choosing to have a decent, somewhat decent bench on Thursday, get the volume in. That's arguably my most valuable day of my 3 benching days. And have my heavy bench day before I squat because I know that if I were to take that heavy bench day right, the day after I squat, my singles gonna suck because I'm thinking about the pain in my elbows the entire time. So that's kind of why I have it set up this way. Um, oh yeah. Otherwise, if you don't have that issue and squats are like a mental thing for you and you want to kind of start the week off strong and with a lot of confidence, then you want to put squat. I mean, I would just flip the two. I might move the other days around. I don't know. I have to think about it, but yeah, that's something that you could do. Um, uh, yeah, we're talking about pros here. So my Friday high bar day, I have 2 days, 2 days rest from lower body. So coming into that Friday, not super fresh, but I'm pretty decent. I'm feeling pretty decent. I'm ready. I'm ready to hit that high bar on that Friday. And then based on how it goes, based on how I'm feeling, I will. If I don't have a lot of deadlift volume, I will do it after my high bar or maybe before. It really depends on, what is sort of the. Sorry, I had to yawn. It really depends on, what I'm doing, right? And this is a sort of it's not super advanced, but it's just like, it requires like critical thinking, and um, you have to move things around, kind of um, based on what the goal is. If on Friday I know that I have a rather strenuous high bar session, maybe I will save those deadlifts for Saturday, right? If I really really have to, if it's like super hard, then I'll save it to Sunday. But the closer that I put those Friday lifts to Tuesday, that's just gonna take away from what I'm able to produce on Tuesday. So sometimes for me, it's I don't want to do that. I want to come in Tuesday and have that recovery. That's why I have it this way. Um, typically, I think with most other people, I'll take either one of those lifts and put it on Sunday for other people, just because I like to have that kind of spacing. For me, it's difficult to recover from 3 days a week of lower. I mean, I could do it for short periods of time, but I really have to watch myself, and it's just, I can't really train the way that I want to. Although that is always an option, it's just also uh, it's kind of annoying to have to go to the gym. I've just found that 5 days a week really works well for me, and that going 6 days, I just start to get worn down. My recovery is bad, and there's just a lot of other side effects that come from that. I'm not saying I can't do it in the future. I'm just saying, it's harder for me. Just talking about this right now, I'm like inspired to try a split that I use more so for my lifters, because I haven't done it in a while, but I'm sure that'll get old as it always as it always does. But yeah, this is the split that I use. The cons of this split, again, my deadlift is very close to my other squat day, so whether I do it on Thursday or Sunday, uh, like pick your poison. It's never gonna be super fresh. Um, there are some things that I could do, like I said, to prioritize deadlift, but then I'm taking away from what I could produce Tuesday. It all revolves around, what is going to be the majority of my total? What is the lift that I want to be in like top shape, least amount of potential for injury and things like that. So again, deadlift kind of gets screwed over on this split for me. Um, some people do. I've had people do just fine, just taking that deadlift from Friday, putting it on Saturday, and they do just fine. Or you flip it. You do high bar on the Saturday, and then it doesn't really matter too much. They do all right. Um, what else? What else? Yeah. So cons. Again, like I said, Tuesday bench is going to really affect my Thursday volume Tuesday squat can affect my Thursday volume. I mean, it's going to affect any day that's close to that day. There's not really much I can do about it. Um, I feel my elbows least on Monday, and I feel the most on Thursday for obvious reasons. But yeah, that is kind of Some cons. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I hate about the split. It's really just around the deadlift. I've tried doing it on the Sunday, and then it just takes too much away from Tuesday. So this is just kind of how I do it. Um, but moving into the next thing I wanted to talk about, which was just training frequency, right? So kind of like the foundation behind all of this is like, why am I benching 3 times a week? Why not two? I used to bench 2 times a week, and that worked for a little while, and then it just got to a point where I needed more. I feel kind of rusty benching twice a week. I feel like I can go ham on any which day, but it doesn't really do much after a certain point. Really, one of the underlying factors that I don't really hear powerlifters talk about too much because it kind of goes into that bodybuilding territory is, um, you know, is like how long can we like grow per session, right? So if you train on a Monday, then you can expect to grow from about Wednesday to Thursday, maybe into Friday. I'm kind of like generalizing it or just giving a ballpark, but essentially this has to do with muscle protein synthesis and what we can expect from ourselves, just like kind of speaking from a drug-free sense. Wow, guys, look at that. Holy shit! I'm gonna redo this whole fucking video and make it big. No, I'm kidding. I've already gone this far. I don't even know if you guys can see that. It doesn't look like it's showing up over here, but yeah, there's lines over there. But anyway, um, yeah, it's really just has to do with muscle protein synthesis. You're gonna gain an effect from training for X amount of hours, days, hours, whatever. And then you need to like keep that going if you want to keep progressing. Also, it helps with staying sharp in your technique and whatnot. Um, I don't know a lot of people that can low bar once a week and still feel pretty sharp all the time with it. I can, so that's what I do. I've tried multiple days a week, and it did work to a point, and then I got stronger, and I just needed more recovery. It's very taxing on my body to lift 700 pounds every week. Um, yeah, that's also another thing, so kind of talking about that muscle protein synthesis that we just talked about. If we're talking about lower body, it's the same thing. It's just that effect kind of lasts longer. We're dealing with much bigger muscles. You're dealing with the spine, you're dealing with, your hips and just a lot of other bigger structures, and you might need a little bit more recovery for those structures to kind of just be ready to handle the next round of training. So 2 to 3 days in between lower body sessions, that's kind of what I like. Like I said, doing the third lower body day is extremely disruptive for somebody like me. I used to be able to do it, but I just like right when I got into the 120s and started lifting more weight, this just worked better. Um, so that's just what I've been running with. I used to kind of overthink the Friday a lot, like should I be doing low bar? Should I be doing high bar? Da da da. Um, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've seen my last meet when I squatted 744, I only did low bar once a week, and I just kept it like that the entire time. And it's kept my elbow safe. It helped me train squats heavy without having to hit low bar twice. Um, and I guess my phone's ringing, but who cares? Because I'm in the middle of a video. But yeah, deadlift. Deadlift, something that people need to think about when we talk about the deadlift also is there is interference between your deadlift and your squats in terms of the muscles that you're using, right? Your glutes are the main mover in all of this. Your glutes are literally like they help you squat and they help you deadlift, and there is interference. You do use your quads a little bit, you use the hamstrings. I especially squat. I feel like I use my hamstrings a lot. Um, just the inner part of my thighs, the back of my leg and whatnot. And I also use those lifts when I deadlift. So, you want to, if you look at it from a bodybuilding sense, think of high bar and deadlift and low bar as lower. Just I'll put it under one category as lower. Uh, like I said, the third lower day of the week is very disruptive. I don't, some people, I think when they, like I tell them, they're like, hey, my deadlift isn't moving up as much in training as I would like, right? Let's say somebody has that complaint. I will say, well, if your deadlift is holding and your squats are going up, then the muscles that are associated with your deadlift are probably increasing as well because, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons for squats going up, but um, if I'm pushing someone through heavy, heavy squat volume and they're just killing themselves going through it, and their deadlift is holding strong, I mean, that's great. That's uh, more or less you can expect when you taper everything down that your deadlift is absolutely going to come up. So that's kind of, I mean, if you guys think back to like the old, like Smolov and Shaiko and things like that, a lot of those programs, they don't have much deadlifting in them, certain ones, and by the end of it, your deadlift goes up. Like I said, there's a lot of interference between the two. Um, Also, the more inexperienced of a lifter you can kind of make progress on a comp lift by not doing it as much, but I don't think that's a good way of doing things, unless you're trying to get around an injury or something. But yeah, so a little bit about training frequency, and I just wanted to talk about my training split and why I use it the way that I use it. This has worked really good, really, really well for me. I put hundreds of pounds on my squat doing this. I've ran the same split for years. I do try to experiment in off season in quotes, right? Because I'm never really in an off season, and I just always fall back to this or some variation of this. Really, with that Friday, it can be pretty flexible. So again, this is a training split should be like really individual. I think training split is super, super, super important. What you're doing within those days is also important, but if they're not spaced out correctly, that's going to affect what you're able to do and how much you're able to inevitably progress. So, yeah, training split is super important. Everybody, I would say like 60% of people can run a similar training split and probably be okay. Maybe 55ish percent, something like that. And then everybody else, you're going to need something hyper specific to what your demands are. Really, I don't know if you guys remember my last vid where I talked about splits where we had that 6 days a week, where it's like upper, lower, upper, lower. So, you just take that and then you add days or remove days based on what somebody needs. So, yeah, I hope you guys are able to take something away from that. I'm gonna post the giveaway stuff soon. This is probably gonna be my last video before I do it, and I'm probably gonna have you guys comment down below. But stay tuned on Instagram to hear what that's gonna be about. You guys hashtag whatever you want in the comments below. I don't really have any preference. Let me see what you guys come up with. But yeah, I hope you're able to take something away from that, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.